I posted a picture of a bag a young guy gave me on social media. The next day, my ex had someone deliver a car full of Chanel bags. I stubbornly said, "So what if you have money?" He's young, and some things are priceless, no matter how much money you have. Oh. He loosened his cufflinks, took off his watch, and looked down at me. Not necessarily. Stuck in another city for 2 weeks due to the pandemic. I returned to find Yanzi wasn't there to pick me up. Exhausted, I stood at the airport calling him. He didn't answer until the third call. "Kiki, take a taxi home. I'll come find you after I'm done here." He had it all planned out. I pursed my lips, feeling a wave of hurt. "Yanzi, you promised to pick me up." "I'm sorry, Kiki, but the client changed plans last minute. She's going abroad tomorrow, and it's an important deal." Over the phone, I faintly heard a woman's voice, someone I didn't recognize. Yanzi paused. "Anyway, go home first. I'll properly apologize and make it up to you when I get back." As I spoke, I dragged my suitcase toward the escalator. Not noticing a puddle on the floor, I stumbled, and my suitcase flew forward, tumbling down the escalator. The latch broke, scattering my belongings everywhere, along with my last third of patience. Under the shocked and sympathetic gazes of strangers, I heard my own tearful voice. "Forget it. Yanzi, let's break up." Yanzi was a blind date my mum set me up with the son of one of her mahjong friends. At my age, I shouldn't have been pressured into blind dates, especially since he was a full 10 years older. But my mum said, "Zhao Yan is a bit older, but he's handsome, successful, and hasn't even been in a relationship before." Shocked by her bluntness, I agreed to meet him out of curiosity. And then I fell for him at first sight. We met at the city's most expensive garden restaurant. Yanzi dressed formally, wearing silver-rimmed glasses that complemented his striking features, giving off a mature, refined, yet aloof vibe. I showed up in oversized overalls with a camera in my bag, sweating after just finishing a photo shoot for 2 clients. The moment I saw Yanzi, I regretted not going home to put on makeup first, but he didn't seem to mind. When I asked him a somewhat blunt question, he answered honestly. "It's true I've never been in a relationship. I've spent most of my time working." But he adjusted his tie and paused. "Miss Zhang, you're the first person I've ever been attracted to. If you feel the same way, we can give it a try." After we started dating, I realized how true his words about spending most of my time working were. In his early 30s, Yanzi already owned a sizable company that was rapidly growing. The downside was that he hardly had time for me, and our dates were often cancelled last minute. This time was no different. Right before the music festival I'd been looking forward to, Yanzi had an emergency at work. I went to the airport alone, and after landing, saw he transferred me 100,000 yuan, with a note, "Have fun." It didn't ease my disappointment. Later, a positive COVID case was reported at the festival, and I was quarantined in a rundown motel. The thin walls meant I could hear everything from the couple next door, and we ended up arguing. All those emotions peaked when Yanzi stood me up again, and I faced public embarrassment at the airport. Crying, I took a long time to gather my scattered belongings. Back at Yanzi's place, I disinfected my wound and started packing. By the time I dragged 2 huge suitcases downstairs, I saw a familiar car parked outside, Yanzi's Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Originally black but wrapped in silver blue because I liked it. Honestly, it didn't match his serious, distant aura at all. Our eyes met and I spoke coldly. "What? Afraid I'd steal something from your place? Did you drop your meeting to rush back?" "It's finished." He stared at me intently, a flicker of emotion in his eyes. "Jiang Wenchu, this is the 7th time you've broken up with me. You think I'll give up like the last 6 times, after a few sweet words?" I clenched my teeth, my tone sharp. "This time I mean it, Yanzi. I want a relationship, not a sugar daddy. Do you think I need your money? You should just marry your job. You don't deserve to be in a relationship." Yanzi didn't try to stop me. "Fine, I understand." His voice remained calm, but his gaze lingered on the bandage on my hand. "Are you hurt?" I didn't answer, just got into the waiting taxi with a blank expression. After the breakup, I moved back into my photography studio. With 2 weeks of backlogged work, I was busy running around with my camera. But whenever I had a free moment, I thought of Yanzi. As much as I tried to act tough, I truly liked him, and the pain was real. He probably didn't love me much, though, since he seemed fine with the breakup. That night, my cousin who was studying abroad came back and brought me a new designer bag from the fall collection. I took a picture and posted it on social media. Thanks to the handsome guy for the bag. To my surprise, Yan Zi, who almost never used social media, liked the post. I stared at his profile picture in disbelief, wondering if I was dreaming. The next day, my studio received a huge delivery box. Inside were 7 or 8 Chanel bags in various styles, wrapped in dust bags, looking like they'd been bought in bulk. As I wondered who sent them, Yan Zi called, "The bags." I understood. "You sent them?" "Yes." He seemed busy with work, pausing before asking, "Do you like them?" I stubbornly replied, "Are you crazy, Yan Zi? So what if you have money? Don't forget you're not young anymore." He's young, and some things are priceless, no matter how much money you have. This time, he was silent for a long time. After what felt like forever, his cold, serious voice returned, tinged with anger. "Jiang Wanchu, we just broke up a week ago." Before I could respond, he hung up. I held my phone, stunned for a moment before realizing what he meant. Yan Zi wasn't my first love, but in some ways, we were the most compatible. He wasn't big on social media, and often didn't get internet trends. I'd tell a joke, laugh hysterically, only to see confusion in his eyes. I'd get annoyed. "Isn't it funny?" "No. It's my fault." He'd sigh, take off his glasses, and kiss my eyelashes, trailing down. "I'm sorry, Kiyuki." I'd grip his wrist, breathing lightly. Such an insincere apology. He'd brush back my sweat-dampened hair, teasing me slowly. "I'm off tomorrow. I'll take you shopping, out for hot pot, and buy you a new camera." That cunning older man. Never been in a relationship, yet a natural in certain areas, improving rapidly. At first, he was restrained, but soon he figured me out, learning all my soft spots and weaknesses. Maybe because I dreamed of Yan Zi and certain unforgettable moments, I woke up feeling disoriented. Running late, I grabbed my camera and rushed out. Today's client was a well-known influencer named Bai Lu. Probably due to her fame, she was quite demanding and criticized me right away. "Miss Jiang, you're 5 minutes late. That's very unprofessional." "I'm sorry. It's my fault." Since I was in the wrong, I apologized quickly. "I'll give you a 10% discount and edit 3 extra photos for you. Is that okay?" Bai Lu still wasn't satisfied. At the end of the shoot, she wanted to sit in the flower bed, but I refused. "You can't step into the garden. Stand to the side, and I'll find an angle. The effect will be the same." "I want to step in." She smirked, lifting her skirt to step in. "I don't trust you photographers. If it looks different, can you take responsibility? Even the meekest person has their limits, and I've never been patient." I pulled her back without hesitation. She lost her balance, falling into a puddle, staining her white dress. Bai Lu screamed, scrambled up and grabbed her phone. "Just you wait. I'm calling my boyfriend to teach you a lesson." "Go ahead, call, I'll wait." Holding my camera, I waited, texting my cousin to pick me up soon. Just then, a silver-blue Mercedes-Benz S-Class pulled up nearby. The door opened and a familiar figure stepped out. Yan Zi. I couldn't deny the flutter in my chest when I saw his cold, stern face. Thinking he'd stop because he saw me, I wondered if he still had feelings for me. But Bai Lu's eyes lit up and she ran over. She's the one who bullied me. You have to stand up for me." For a moment I stood frozen. The brief surge of joy I'd felt just moments ago now turning into acute embarrassment. But I was also relieved. If I had spoken a few seconds earlier, I probably would have become the most humiliated person in the world. Hearing her voice, Yan Zi frowned and avoided her attempt to link arms. "What's going on?" Bai Lu pointed back at me and whispered something to him. Yan Zi glanced at me, then said to her, "I'll handle it. You have another event later, so go ahead." Bai Lu said sweetly, "But won't you take me, Ace? Can you speak normally?" Yan Zi's brow furrowed. "I have things to do later too. Take a taxi yourself." I stood to the side, hugging my camera, watching the whole scene unfold. When Yan Zi finally walked over to me, I forced a cold smile. "Hello, ex-boyfriend. So, how are you planning to teach me a lesson?" His deep gaze rested on me. Long time no see. My heart trembled involuntarily, and all the sarcastic remarks I had prepared suddenly evaporated. Double quotes. Dot. Spare me. After a brief daze, I finally found my voice again. Yanzi, we've broken up. And you found a new girlfriend so quickly. Stop pretending to be nostalgic in front of me. What new girlfriend? Before I could answer, the sound of a screeching brake came from behind. Then my cousin's voice. Sis, don't be afraid. I brought help. 2 figures ran over, blocking me. The moment our eyes met, I saw a face that was both familiar and strange. Momentarily stunned, my cousin glared fiercely at Yanzi, then turned to me. Sis, is he the one causing trouble? Not exactly. It's his girlfriend. Yanzi looked at me seriously. Jiang Wenchu, I don't have a girlfriend. Now everyone present sensed something was off. My cousin hesitated and glanced at the person beside him. Liu Yuhuai stiffened and slowly turned around. Jiang Wenchu, long time no see. Meeting 2 ex-boyfriends in one day, and both saying the exact same thing. I deeply regretted not checking the almanac before leaving home today, landing myself in this situation. After a tense standoff, I took a deep breath and turned to leave. Forget it. Let's just go home. After just 2 steps, someone grabbed my wrist. Turning back, I met Yanzi's gaze, now uncomfortably close. He said, Jiang Wenchu, we need to talk. A cool autumn breeze brushed my ear, and suddenly I snapped. Talk my ass. What the hell do I have to talk to you about, Yanzi? You're such a good actor, pretending to be some innocent, inexperienced guy in front of me. And what happened? Just half a month after breaking up, you're already cozying up to someone else. Didn't she ask you to teach me a lesson? Well, go ahead. Yanzi pursed his lips, suddenly bent down, and picked me up in his arms. Startled by the sudden weightlessness, I instinctively clutched my camera tighter. Just as I began to struggle, Yanzi looked down, his gaze falling on my lips. Stop moving. That suggestive look and slightly husky voice instantly dragged me back into certain unmentionable memories. In many dimly lit nights with swaying shadows, when I tried to push Yanzi away with weak hands, he would catch them, bring them to his lips for a kiss, and press closer with a hoarse whisper. Don't move, Kyuki. You won't be able to handle it. My face flushed burning red in an instant. Swallowing hard, I was about to say something when my cousin charged over. Where are you taking my sister? Good kid. I didn't buy you all those snacks for nothing when you were little. Yanzi glanced at him calmly. We have some private matters to settle. He placed me in the passenger seat, fastened my seatbelt, got into the driver's seat, and started the car. She's not my girlfriend, and I didn't come specifically for her. I was on my way to meet a client and just happened to pass by. Yanzi offered an explanation. The knot in my chest loosened slightly, but I pressed on stubbornly. Don't try to fool me. She called you so intimately. What's your relationship really? Neighbors. Neighbors. Childhood neighbors. He added, she moved away later and just came back recently. Our families had a meal together. I silently compared. My mom and Yanzi's mom had only played mahjong a few times, but Bai Lu, as the daughter of old neighbors, was clearly much closer. Stop, Jiang Wenchu. What are you thinking? I suddenly realized I was comparing meaningless things and felt a pang of shame. Fortunately, Yanzi didn't seem to notice my thoughts. He broke the silence again. The injury on your hand, is it healed? It took me a few seconds to realize what he meant. It's fine. How did it happen? How did it happen? That question made me go quiet for a moment. Before the plane landed that day, I had rehearsed countless times in my mind how I would act spoiled with Yanzi, how I would complain about that unreasonable couple, and then, while he was comforting me, make some bold requests. Like asking him to wear the semi-transparent maid outfit I had packed in my suitcase. But everything ended with that one phone call from him. Just like now, I suddenly snapped back to reality, once again aware that we had broken up. It's nothing, just an accident. My voice turned cold as well. Yanzi probably noticed. He paused, then suddenly asked, that bag you posted on social media the other day, was it from that person just now? Thinking he meant my cousin, I hummed in agreement. Then Yanzi suddenly turned the steering wheel. The car swerved at the intersection and slid into a parking spot by the side. He unbuckled his seatbelt, leaned over, and gazed into my eyes from an uncomfortably close distance. Jiang Wenchu. His warm breath brushed against me. Yanzi had good habits, never smoked or drank, so his breath always smelled pleasant. My throat tightened. For a moment, I almost thought he was going to kiss me. But in the quiet, enclosed space, his familiar phone ringtone cut through. Yanzi answered the call, his expression instantly turning serious and businesslike. I'm on my way, do a final check on the proposal. Print 2 extra copies as backup. I'll be there in half an hour. He hung up and looked at me. Kiyuki, I need to handle some work matters. You can wait in the car, or go home first. I'll come find you later, okay? This was Yanzi, always calm and self-possessed, able to prioritize. Anyone had to make way for his work and career. The flutter in my heart felt doused by a bucket of cold water. Gripping the hem of my clothes, I took a deep breath. No need. Yanzi, we've broken up. Breaking up means ... it's over. Suppressing the sharp ache in my chest, I forced out the last few words. I don't have time to be your distraction between work. I want to be with someone who loves me wholeheartedly. Without waiting for Yanzi's response, I unbuckled my seatbelt, got out of the car, and walked away without looking back. After getting out of Yanzi's car, I went straight to a nearby bar. And there, I ran into a familiar person. Liu Yuhai sat down across from me with a glass. Kiyuki. Through a thin haze of alcohol, I looked at him. Are you following me? Yes, because he just took you away like that. Jiang Heng and I were worried, so we agreed I'd follow in my car. Jiang Heng is my cousin's name. I didn't respond, just threw back the drink in my glass. Suddenly remembering something, I took out my phone, refunded by Liu's money, and blocked her on WeChat. Liu Yuhai sat quietly across from me, not drinking, just watching me. Before Yanzi, I had a few other relationships, including one with Liu Yuhai. He was my first love. It's funny to say he was in the class next to my cousins, a year younger than me. At first, I was the one chasing after him. After finally getting together, we dated for half a year before he went abroad. The long-distance relationship was incredibly tough. Time and again, when I needed companionship the most, he wasn't there. So I broke down. Let's break up. On the other end of the line, Liu Yuhai was silent for a while. Jiang Wenchu, you were the one who chased me first. That's right. So it's only fitting that I'm the one to end it. I said, Liu Yuhai, I'm a selfish, ordinary person. I date for happiness. I'm not happy anymore, so we have to separate. He said nothing, just hung up. I thought that probably meant he agreed to the breakup. Snapping out of the memory, my gaze fell on Liu Yuhua's fingers holding the glass across from me. He was young and had played the piano for years, so his posture and fingers were as slender as a teenager's. I'm a bit of a hand enthusiast. I've always liked long, beautiful hands like that, until I met Yanzi. He taught me, in the way only an adult could, that when it comes to hands, longer isn't necessarily better. Your face is red, Liu Yuhai suddenly said. Caught off guard, I felt like steam was rising from the top of my head. I hurriedly raised my glass to hide my face. It's just the alcohol. Then my wrist was caught in a warm, firm grip. Liu Yuhai used some force, pulling my hand down and stared directly into my eyes. Jiang Wenchu, clearly you were the one who started it with me. Now I can't move on. And you've just fallen for someone else like that. As I tried to pull my hand back, I asked, who did I fall for? The way you look at him is the same way you looked at me back then. It's different. Liu Yuhai, we've been apart for a while. What I want now is an adult relationship. Back when I was with Liu Yuhai, because he was so young, the most intimate contact we had was a brief, chaste kiss. I can have an adult relationship with you too, he said, pursing his lips. He suddenly stood up and leaned closer. Sis, the bag I asked Jiang Heng to give you. Did you like it? So it was from him. I was stunned for a second. Before I could speak, a force suddenly hooked around my waist, pulling me backward. Caught off guard, I fell back into a familiar, warm embrace. Yanzi held me, looking down at Liu Yuhai. I'm taking her. Don't even think about making a move on her. Liu Yuhai's expression turned icy. He looked at me, his eyes holding a tumult of emotions. Sis. Before I could respond, Yan Zi carried me away. The muscles in his arms were well defined. Holding me, he made it seem like I weighed nothing. Once again placed in the familiar passenger seat, I started struggling. Yan Zi, are you insane? What about your contract? Not discussing it anymore? Not anymore. He paused, leaning in to kiss me. Chasing my wife seems more important. I never dreamed in a million years that Yan Zi would say something like that. Perhaps because it was so unbelievable. The moment I heard it, my heart started racing. For a moment, I stopped moving and just stared at him blankly. Yan Zi didn't say anything else. He fastened his seatbelt and started the car. Watching the scenery outside the window grow familiar, I suddenly realized he was heading toward my place. Not going to your place? No. Yan Zi paused strangely, then said, Your place is closer. Jiang Wanchu, we really need to have a good talk. I didn't respond. In truth, just thinking about the embarrassment and hurt at the airport that day still made me feel ashamed and sad. Kyuki. Yan Zi called me again, and the pain I had deliberately suppressed rose up again from the depths of my heart. Sharp and fine. I don't think there's anything to talk about. Yan Zi, I really liked you, but you were just too busy. In your life's priorities, many things came before me. So our promised dates could be easily cancelled. So you could say you picked me up, and then tell me you weren't coming after I landed. My voice was already tinged with a sob I couldn't suppress. So all those times I needed you before, you were absent. That day at the airport, apologizing and packing my suitcase at the same time. I already decided ... Yan Zi, I would never forgive you in this lifetime. In the dim car light, Yan Zi looked into my eyes, his Adam's apple bobbing. Then he pulled me into a tight hug. I'm sorry, Kyuki. He paused slightly, his voice dropping lower. I didn't know you went through so much trouble. I promise this won't happen again. His voice was thick with remorse, like a long overdue rain dousing the anger in my heart. Only for a different kind of fire to ignite. The familiar, burning heat of his palm against my waist made me swallow hard. I decided to solve this problem the adult way. Is an apology enough? I said, let's go upstairs. We'll discuss this issue in detail. Under the warm yellow light of the bedroom, Yan Zi stared at the short black and white maid outfit, falling into a long silence. I sat on the window seat, swinging my leg, hooking my toes, looking at him, and deliberately raising an eyebrow with a cold smile. What? Not even willing to make this small sacrifice? How can you have the nerve to ask for my forgiveness? With that, I stood up and opened the bedroom door. Please leave my home, Mr. Yan. Yan Zi grabbed my wrist. I'll wear it. His voice was low and gentle. Kyuki, you better be prepared to bear the consequences. The words entered my ears, dragging me back into certain evocative, dusky scenes, making my head spin. Dark clouds drifted outside, covering the moon, and a light night rain began to patter. A sliver of light leaked through the swaying curtains. I asked, trembling, Yan Zi, what's wrong? Thirsty. I wiped the tears from the corner of my eye and tried to stand up. Then I'll get you some water. Before I could finish, Yan Zi pulled me back. His voice grew even hoarser. No need. When I woke up the next day, my throat was painfully sore. Yan Zi brought over a glass of water, helped me drink, then asked, Does this count as making up? No, I said. You're still on probation. If you want to become official, please work harder, President Yan. Back when we were dating, I once went to his company to wait for him for a date. I saw young people around my age calling him President Yan, one after another. For fun, I started calling him that too. President Yan, do you still need a personal secretary? Can I apply? That night, Yan Zi lost control. Now hearing me call him that again, a shadow flickered in his eyes. But he lowered his gaze, reining in his emotions, and asked, Do you have a shoot today? Yes, I quickly said, so you should hurry back to the company. I have things to do too. Actually, I didn't know what to do. It seemed like things were cleared up, so we should logically get back together. But a vague, restless unease reminded me that things weren't that simple. The next few meetings were mostly arranged at my place. Even when I remembered leaving something at his place and wanted to go get it, Yan Zi refused. At first, I didn't know why. Until that afternoon when I went home to see my mum, and she happened to be playing mahjong in the yard with a few friends, including Yanzi's mom. By the time I finished pouring water, the others had left, leaving only her standing there, looking at me apologetically. I'm sorry, Kyuki. If I had known Bailu could move back, I definitely wouldn't have set you up with Yanzi. My hand holding the cup suddenly stilled. Auntie, what do you mean? But it's okay, you two already broke up before. Otherwise, I really would have made a huge mistake. Yanzi's mom's voice seemed to come from far away. That child Yanzi. He never liked to talk much since he was little. I only knew he liked Bailu back then. I didn't know he still couldn't forget her all these years. It was like vines with fine thorns instantly wrapped around my heart. I stared at the glass in my hand, a roaring sound in my ears. Probably because my face looked too pale, Yanzi's mom came over worriedly to take my arm. Kyuki, are you okay? Auntie. I fluttered my eyelashes and forced a smile. I'm fine. Just caught a cold last night. I took a taxi straight to Yanzi's residential complex, but stopped at the entrance. What would I say if we met? Ask if he was using me as a toy. Ask why everyone knew he liked Bailu but kept me in the dark. Or ask, what exactly are we? Standing in the icy wind of late autumn, I reached up to touch my eyes and found my hands covered in cold wetness. How could I be so stupid, believing everything he said? Miss Jiang. A haughty voice came from behind. I turned to see Bailu's meticulously made-up face. I asked expressionlessly, what are you doing here? I live here. She was surprised for a moment, then laughed, her whole body shaking. Miss Jiang, I know why you're targeting me like this. Although it might be cruel for you, A's being with you was indeed because you look a bit like me when I was younger. An even stronger wind blew. She was dressed lightly and shivered across from me. Let's talk somewhere else. I followed her expressionlessly into a nearby cafe. Bailu held a hot latte, chin raised, looking at me proudly. Jiang Wenchu, it's useless no matter how jealous you are. I was A's first love. All these years, I'm the only one he's ever liked. You better get away from him soon. Although A's is indeed excellent, successful at a young age, that's no reason for you to cling to him. A girl should know some shame. She wasn't much different from when we met for the photo shoot, still foolish and arrogant. I asked kindly, are you done? She nodded arrogantly. Then I picked up the caramel latte with double coconut milk from the table and poured it over her head. The thick brown liquid clung to her hair, staining her white coat. Amid Bailu's screams, I took a napkin, wiped off the few drops of coffee splashed on the back of my hand, then leaned on the table to look at her. Who are you calling shameless, Miss Bai? You can say he doesn't love me. You can't say I'm a substitute for a fool like you. Got it? The public humiliation had probably made Bailu lose her mind. I calmly admired her state, until Yanzi's voice, cold with anger, sounded above my head. Who told you to come find her? In front of me, he had always been calm and self-possessed. His few moments of losing control were during special times. This was the first time I heard his voice tight, unable to conceal his anger. Bailu across from us seemed to see a savior. Red-rimmed eyes, she cried out, AZ. My heart ached so much it trembled, but I still forced myself to stand up and face Yanzi. So I did come find her. What about it? But then his gaze darkened, and he actually reached out and pulled me behind him. Then he repeated to Bailu, who told you to come find her? I was dumbfounded. Weren't those words meant for me? Bailu's lips trembled, tears falling like pearls, as if her composure had completely shattered. Aze, you saw it yourself. She poured coffee on me. How can you still blame me? Why shouldn't she pour it on you? Yanzi's tone was cold as ice. You moved in as a neighbor without a word, talked nonsense in front of my mom, and now you're causing trouble for my girlfriend. Should I praise you for doing well? Bailu cried even harder. What did I say wrong? You admitted you liked me back then. Miss Bai. Yanzi coldly cut her off. Can you even fool yourself by repeating lies enough? You should know the truth of what happened back then better than anyone. After the tearful Bailu left, only Yanzi and I remained in the cafe. Because of the earlier commotion, many people nearby were stealing glances at us. Feeling deeply embarrassed, I took his hand and led him out. Sitting in the car, a light, warm mist drifted out, dispersing around me. My hands and cheeks, frozen stiff, slowly regained sensation. Looking at Yanzi in front of me, I felt all the long-suppressed grievances churning up inside. I opened my mouth, but before any sound came out, tears fell first. Yanzi stiffened, his warm fingertips brushing the corner of my eye. "Kiyuki, don't cry." I promptly wiped my tears and snot on his sleeve. "You've been lying to me all along, Yanzi. You said I was the first person you ever had feelings for, that you confessed to someone over 10 years ago. You wouldn't let me come to your place all this time. And it turns out it's because your first love moved in next door. What? Were you afraid I'd discover the truth about you two-timing? And now she's flaunting it in front of me, saying I'm her substitute. It's ridiculous. How dare she insult me like that?" I accused Yanzi of a long list of crimes in one breath. He just listened, and finally, a faint, helpless smile curled at the corner of his lips. "Judge Jiang, if your accusations are temporarily concluded, may I defend myself with a few words?" I lifted my chin, spoiled by his indulgence. "Speak." I never confessed to her, and I never liked her. Back then, she got into trouble and wanted to use that as a pretense to make the other party back off. I agreed out of consideration for our years as neighbors. Yanzi paused slightly. "My mom just called. She said she accidentally let slip about this and saw you didn't look well. So I told her the truth too. As for her moving here, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to have any contact with her. This person is extreme and unscrupulous, even though she seems foolish on the surface." He explained all the misunderstandings in a few sentences, but the inexplicable knot of emotions in my heart didn't disappear. After a moment of silence, I said sullenly, "But I'm still not happy, Yanzi." He was very patient, coaxing me softly. Why?" I couldn't answer. All the messy emotions in my heart melted into a ball, enveloping all my reason. Actually, from the beginning, the root of the conflict between Yanzi and me wasn't Bailu. Back when we were together, our fights and my repeated breakups were all because of the misalignment in our life rhythms. Before I appeared, his life had already taken shape over his previous 31 years, orderly, serious, rigid. Therefore, his company, clients, work, many things took priority over me. Even that night when he temporarily left his client to come find me at the bar, it was only that one time. "I want you to choose me first. Anytime." The unreasonable words stuck in my throat, unable to come out. So finally I said dejectedly, "Maybe we should just forget it. The age gap is too big. We're not really suitable to begin with, just ... Before I could finish, Yanzi suddenly reached out and hugged me tightly. "Actually, I also know the current situation isn't suitable. That's why I didn't argue when you said we should separate that day. But I failed because I can't adapt to life without you." His fingers tightened inch by inch against my back. "Didn't you say I'm still on probation? Give me a little more time, okay, Kiki?" Yanzi's chin rested on my shoulder, his hot breath brushing my ear. My legs felt weak, my head dizzy. In a daze, I was led onto his pirate ship. Probably because he didn't want me to see Bailu, Yanzi cleaned up another property he owned in the city and moved in with me. A few days later, he took me back to his parents' home. Auntie Yan saw me, her face full of guilt. "Kiyuki, Auntie didn't know you and Yanzi had gotten back together. And I didn't know that's how things were back then. I'm really sorry for causing you trouble. Who was I to have an elder apologize to me?" I jumped up from the sofa in alarm. "Don't say that, Auntie. It's all Yanzi's fault. If he had explained things clearly earlier, there wouldn't have been so many misunderstandings." Yanzi, who was helping me cut mangoes nearby, nodded seriously upon hearing this. Indeed, I was inconsiderate. I didn't expect him to take the blame so readily. The words I had prepared next were stuck in my throat. The so-called probation period wasn't much different from when we were dating before. I did take some time to seriously study Bailu's Weibo profile and discovered the persona she created for herself, a beautiful and intelligent, highly educated woman. How to put it? Let's just say it wasn't just slightly off. It was completely unrelated. That afternoon, I met with Zheng Heng. Probably because they had become good friends abroad these past few years. He didn't talk for long before asking me, "Sis, is there really no chance with Liu Yuhui? Did he send you as a mediator?" Zheng Heng scratched his head, looking troubled. Not really. I just think you two are more compatible. Not only were you each other's first love, but the age gap isn't that big either. That guy is 10 years older than you. Won't there be a generation gap? Objectively speaking, there was. Actually, Yanzi had been very accommodating to me lately, almost cancelling all unnecessary social engagements and work dinners, staying home with me when he didn't have work to handle. But his time was still limited, and his habit of not being online didn't change. He still couldn't get the jokes and references of a seasoned internet addict like me. Like just a couple of days ago, I had just changed his car stereo playlist from a bunch of piano concertos and symphonies to my favorite niche bands. Listening to this stuff while driving every day. Won't you get sleepy? Yanzi actually thought about it for a moment, then said, "No. When I'm alone, I need it to be quiet." "Oh? So you mean when you're with me, it's too noisy? You think I talk too much?" Faced with my unreasonable tantrum, Yanzi's expression remained calm. "Kiyuki, that's not what I meant." I gritted my teeth, grabbed his tie and kissed him. "Then what do you mean? Explain it in detail." Fortunately, I only spaced out for a moment before Jiang Heng's voice pulled me back to reality. "Sis." I snapped out of it, and suddenly sensed something off. I glanced to the side and realized Liu Yuhai was standing beside me, though I didn't know when he arrived. "Sorry, I didn't mean to hide it. But if I didn't use Jiang Heng's name, you probably wouldn't meet with me again, right?" His cool, clear voice sounded like notes from a piano. And those eyes gazing at me, misty with emotion, also seemed to hold the lingering damp fog of London over the years. He was only 20 this year. 3 years ago, when I broke up with him in a foreign country, he wasn't even an adult yet. I did feel a bit of guilt towards Liu Hui, but that was all. "That bag, I actually don't need such an expensive gift. Give me your address and I'll mail it back to you another day." Liu Yuhai pursed his lips, suddenly leaned on the table and leaned closer to me bit by bit. "You accepted it right away when you thought it was from Jiang Heng. Are you that disgusted with me, sis? Do you have to draw such a clear line over a bag? It's not like that. Jiang Heng is my cousin. But you and I anyway, we broke up 3 years ago, and I have a boyfriend now. It's not appropriate to accept your gift." I leaned back, but Liu Yuhai didn't give an inch, pressing closer instead. The emotions churning in his eyes were like gathering storm clouds. "Back then, when you broke up with me, the reason was that I couldn't be by your side when you needed me. But can he? Was he there during the times you needed companionship the most?" These words undoubtedly hit the softest, most hidden spot in my heart. I was slightly dazed for a second. Immediately after, I heard the sound of hurried footsteps approaching. Liu Yuai's face suddenly disappeared from in front of me. Coming back to my senses, I saw Yanzi's expression, which held hidden anger. He was staring coldly at Liu Yuhai, his tone warning. "I told you, don't set your sights on her." Liu Yuhai, who had been pulled aside, straightened his wrinkled collar, not backing down an inch. "What, you don't have time for her, but others aren't allowed to?" A dark, turbulent look flashed in Yanzi's eyes. Then he closed them briefly, ignoring Liu Yuhai, and just looked at me. "Kiyuki, you said you were just meeting your cousin. My ears must be playing tricks on me. Otherwise, how could I hear a hint of grievance in his voice? I was indeed just meeting my cousin." I quickly glared at Jiang Heng across the table. "Explain." Jiang Heng hurriedly said, "It really was me who secretly brought him here. My sister didn't know brother-in-law. Don't blame her." Liu Yuhai stood there, lips pressed together, saying nothing. Yanzi nodded slightly, his tone still cold. "In that case, I'll take her home first." Following Yanzi to the car, I was still thinking about how to explain the situation. After a moment of silence, he was the first to speak. "So, you want to evaluate 2 people at the same time?" I turned to look and saw his jaw was tense, his expression indescribably serious and cold. It seemed like anger, but also like nervousness. "How is that possible? I told you it was a coincidence." I didn't want to dwell on this anymore and change the subject. "But it's working hours now. Why did you suddenly show up here?" "A big project was successfully delivered, so we had an impromptu team dinner. And you just left halfway through. Is that okay?" Yanzi rested one hand on the steering wheel and said calmly, "I'm the boss." Damn capitalist. Since he had free time that afternoon, we went to see a movie together. To relax, we chose a domestic romantic film. And of course, the plot was about a female lead who, years after breaking up with her first love, meets him again. After several twists and turns, she breaks up with her current boyfriend and returns to her first love's arms. Save me. Even though Yanzi beside me didn't speak, I could feel the atmosphere around him grow even colder and more oppressive. After returning home, I had just pressed the switch for the living room light, when Yanzi's kiss landed on me in the transition from dark to light. I lost my balance and instinctively fell backward. He immediately reached out, very considerately cushioning the back of my head. I explained, trembling. I swear, I really just picked that movie randomly. He left my lips, retreating slightly. Kyuki, I really don't understand young people's preferences very well. He sounded a bit dejected. I really wanted to comfort him. Some words came out without thinking. It's an age thing. After all, you're a man over 30. Can't really blame you. Then the atmosphere instantly turned dead silent. I looked at Yanzi in front of me. Dangerous glints flickered in those pitch-black eyes. I opened my mouth but couldn't say anything. Age. Issue. He repeated slowly, word by word, staring into my eyes. Then he suddenly smiled, tugging at the corner of his lips. Kyuki, do you remember what you said to me on the phone when we were arguing before? I swallowed hard, trying to play dumb. I don't remember. It's okay. I'll help you remember. He took my hand, guiding my fingers in a dance, until I was lying on my back on the sofa, squinting from the light. Yanzi even thoughtfully went to adjust the light to a muted warm yellow. The words I had stubbornly blurted out on the phone that day flashed through my mind. Don't forget you're not young anymore. He's young, and some things are priceless, no matter how much money you have. The light dimmed a bit more. Yanzi stood in front of the sofa, looking down at me. His gaze never left me. Yet he slowly loosened his cufflinks, took off his watch, looked down at me, and smiled lightly. Not necessarily. Lust clouds the mind. Lust truly clouds the mind. I slept until noon the next day, dragged my sore body to the studio, and then, reflecting on the pain, decided to work seriously for a while. Checking the shooting schedule for the next few days in my memo, I planned to take on a few more jobs, so I opened Weibo. The next second, an overwhelming flood of private messages poured in. I randomly opened a few, all filled with vulgar insults. A roaring sound seemed to ring in my ears. I took several deep breaths, trying my best to calm down. After opening private messages from over a dozen people who were cyberbullying me, I finally understood. Bailu had written a pitifully worded post and exposed me on her Weibo profile. In her narrative, I was the vicious supporting female character who tore apart her and Yanzi, the star-crossed lovers reunited. I was unbearably arrogant and domineering. As an ex-girlfriend, out of jealousy, I deliberately picked fights during the photo shoot, and then went to confront and pour coffee on her. Some of their former high school classmates also came forward to prove that Yanzi did like Bailu back then. In that Weibo post, Bailu also attached a short clip of surveillance video from the cafe that day, precisely the moment I poured coffee all over her head, turning black into white. But how could I refute it? She was a somewhat famous internet celebrity with a large number of fans. She had also skillfully grasped the internet's hot button and taken the initiative. In just this short while, the number of insulting private messages was still skyrocketing. Opening any one, the foul language was shocking. My blood boiled, my brain buzzing. I didn't want to see any more and hurriedly closed Weibo. The doorbell rang. It was a delivery from a stranger. Opening it, inside was a small urn with a note. Homewrecker die. My hand trembled. The box fell to the floor and cracked open. In that moment, I suddenly understood what Yanzi had said about Bailu. He said, "This person is extreme and also unscrupulous, even though she seems foolish on the surface. Using online public opinion to destroy a romantic rival. This wasn't a method a seemingly arrogant fool could employ." I curled up on the sofa, biting my lip as I called Yanzi. He answered quickly. Kyuki. The familiar, serious yet slightly hoarse voice instantly shattered the last shreds of composure I had been clinging to. I started wailing, my voice choked with sobs, speaking brokenly. Yanzi, you're not even online. Do you know what Bailu has done? I just wanted to date you. Why do I have to bear all this? I regret it. Is it not enough that I regret being with you? Since I was very little, my mum had doted on me, never letting me suffer any grievance. It was the same when I started dating. If someone made me unhappy, I could just break up. During this time with Yanzi, I had already gotten angry more times than I ever had before. And this cyberbullying campaign orchestrated by Bailu became the last straw that broke the camel's back. After hanging up the phone, I buried my head between my knees, crying wholeheartedly. I don't know how long passed before a warm force encircled my wrist. The next second, I was pulled into an embrace that still carried the biting chill of late autumn. Yanzi held me tightly, his hand stroking the top of my head over and over, as if comforting me. His tone was deliberately lowered and gentle. Kiyuki, don't cry. I'll handle it. How are you going to handle it? I asked. Can you stop these people from privately messaging and insulting me? Or can you stop her extremist fans from sending me urns? Yanzi pursed his lips, his eyes full of apology. Right in front of me, he took out his phone and dialed a number. Bailu's coquettish voice came from the other end. Aze, did you miss me? Her tone was as composed as if nothing had happened. Yanzi said coldly, stop pretending. You incited your fans to cyberbully my girlfriend and fabricated facts. You must clarify the rumors and then apologize to her. Oh, you're not even online, and you're so busy with work. Is she really complaining to you about such a small matter? I was so angry my lungs were about to explode. I was about to grab the phone and start yelling. But Yanzi held my head, soothing me while continuing to speak. You should know better than anyone why that happened back then. If you don't apologize, I'll reveal the truth in every detail. The atmosphere froze instantly. After a moment, Bailu's mournful voice came through. Aze, you promised to keep my secret forever. That was on the premise that you didn't provoke me. Yanzi said. You know very well, I'm not some kind, good person. Bailu cried, tears falling like pear blossoms in the rain. Aze, we grew up together all these years. Are you really going to be so cruel to me? I don't believe you have no feelings for me at all. Yanzi lost his patience, hung up the phone, and then dialed another number. I need to handle some online public opinion matters, Yang Min. Give me a plan within half an hour. A young woman's voice hollered on the other end. No way, President Yan. Did our company get hacked? Can we let that slide? Kiji, stop sleeping. Get up and work. It's a personal matter. Yanzi paused. It concerns your boss's wife. Then, right in front of me, he registered a new account and posted his first ever Weibo. Today, regarding the series of slander by Bailu online targeting me and my partner, I hereby clarify the following. She was splashed with coffee because she came to provoke us on her own. In the past, I allowed those behaviors from Bailu because when she was in school, she was seeing 2 boyfriends at the same time. The other party threatened to break her legs, so she used me as a shield. Out of consideration for our many years as neighbors, I agreed, but I never liked her. My partner is my first love. There is no connection between her and Bailu whatsoever. The evidence he provided was an audio recording with slight static, precisely Bailu's panicked plea for help when her scheme fell apart back then. After the Weibo was posted, it was quickly promoted and gained momentum by the 2 girls from his company's PR department, swiftly making it to the trending topics. Public opinion reversed, and Bailu faced the backlash. She probably never expected Yanzi to actually go this far. She called again, but Yanzi hung up and right in front of me, blocked her number. The room quieted down. Outside the window, the night was dim, with scattered lights twinkling, creating an intimate and warm atmosphere inside. Looking into Yanzi's eyes, I felt my heart filled with both sourness and sweetness, my eyes swelling uncomfortably. My partner, your wording is so old-fashioned. Fitting for my age. He laughed lightly, self-deprecatingly. A man in his 30s, it's normal to be a bit old-fashioned. But why did the school bully who threatened to break Bailu Jess' legs back down after hearing you liked her? Yanzi stiffened slightly, coughing twice. I was young and hot-headed back then, got into a few fights. My reputation at school wasn't very good. A few sentences sketched an image completely different from the mature and steady Yanzi before me. I felt a bit regretful. What a shame. I never got to see that version of you. Meeting now isn't too late either. I suddenly thought of that recording. So back then, when she came to you for help, you agreed, but also recorded it. Leaving evidence to ensure nothing goes wrong is my habit, Yanzi said calmly. I quickly racked my brain, wondering if I had ever provoked Yanzi before, said anything inappropriate. When I snapped back to reality, I saw him leaning close, his deep eyes staring at me unblinkingly. I have never recorded a single second of audio with you, never kept any so-called evidence. You're different from her, Kyuki. I love you. The confession came unexpectedly. Fireworks seemed to explode one after another in my mind. I stared blankly at Yanzi before me, wondering if I was hallucinating. What did you say? I love you, Kyuki. Along with these words, a scorching kiss landed on my lips. Will this deduct points from me? His voice was almost a whisper. My head was spinning from the kiss. It took me a few seconds to barely regain a shred of clarity. Deduct what points? Since I'm still on probation, will this incident deduct points from me? Hard to say. I gasped for breath twice, pretending to be harsh. Depends on your performance. I soon regretted saying those 4 words. Maybe every cloud has a silver lining. After this public opinion storm, my personal photography studio's reputation actually spread. The number of people booking shoots with me increased several-fold overnight. Paid bookings were already scheduled for the next 2 months. While busy making money, I didn't forget to mail that bag back to Zhang Heng. Since Liu Yuhai asked you to give it to me, you can take it back to him, I said on the phone. And don't secretly arrange for him to meet me again in the future. It's meaningless. Whatever happened between us is in the past. Zhang Heng sighed on the other end. Sorry, sis. I just felt bad for Liu Yuhai since he turned down a job in London to come back for you. Didn't cause you trouble, did I? It's fine. I glanced at Yanzi sitting at the dining table. I'm going for dinner now. Talk later. After hanging up, Yanzi looked at me, pretending to be magnanimous. It's just a bag. Keeping it wouldn't have been a problem. Really, no problem. I deliberately asked. Even if I use it every day. Yanzi's hand on the edge of the table subtly tightened. Using the same bag every day doesn't match outfits well. I'll get you a few dozen more. A few dozen? Could I even use a duplicate twice a month then? An older man getting jealous is really laughable. That evening, Yanzi was working in the study, and I was playing Zelda on my Switch beside him. I was too engrossed and didn't really hear what he said earlier, until Yanzi walked up to me, took off the silver-rimmed glasses he only wore for work, leaned down by the armrest and said, "So focused on playing, not even listening to me." Practicing my parry, I said offhandedly, "You used to be like that too. Once you were immersed in work, you couldn't hear me talking to you." Yanzi paused, then apologized to me again. "I'm sorry," he had said, "I'm sorry" to me many times during this period. I thought for a moment, handed him my Switch, then stood up and walked a few steps toward the bathroom before turning back. Seeing the confusion in Yanzi's eyes, I added, "What's the use of just apologizing with words? I'll go take a shower first. If you can kill this Lionel, I'll forgive you." In the following days, Yanzi, who was already busy with work, had an even more packed schedule. I even saw Yang Min, whom I had added on WeChat after the Bailu incident, post a moment. This is unbelievable. Went to the boss's office this afternoon to deliver the final proposal and saw him, who doesn't even browse Weibo, looking up gaming guides. 30-second no-damage Lionel tutorial. I took a screenshot of that moment and would look at it and laugh whenever I was in a bad mood. Maybe Yanzi really had some innate talent. After studying for 4 or 5 days, he actually managed to kill the Lionel for me, and without taking any damage. He returned my Switch and then said, "Kyuki, I need to go on a trip on the 10th next month." "For what?" "To Shanghai to discuss funding," he said seriously. "My company is probably going to go public soon." I was very happy for Yanzi, but his eyes were full of apology. "The 10th is your 22nd birthday." "Oh, but it's okay." I said this sincerely. "In our family, we usually celebrate birthdays according to the lunar calendar anyway." Because my bookings were packed, I couldn't even take a break on my birthday. But thinking it was for making money, I was highly motivated. A younger girl who had booked with me long ago wanted to shoot a set of industrial decay-style photos. After several discussions, we settled on an abandoned factory in the suburbs that hadn't been used for years. On the morning of that day, I specifically reminded her to bring fake blood props, then went to have breakfast with Yanzi. He had a flight at noon, and was about to leave for the airport soon. I was munching on a sandwich when I looked up and saw Yanzi sitting across from me, staring at me intently. What? I was thinking, going one day later wouldn't matter. I should still celebrate your birthday with you. I was greatly surprised. A bit love-struck there, President Yan. You weren't like this before. In the past, birthdays and anniversaries all took a back seat to your company. The old me didn't know what was good for me. Yanzi sighed softly. Contracts can be renegotiated if lost, but if someone you love runs away, they're really gone. Even so, I finished my breakfast in a few bites, packed my camera and lenses. Really, it's not necessary. I have a shoot later too. You should go talk business properly. Go early and come back early. The taxi drove all the way to the factory gate. The driver kindly reminded me, this place is very remote. A young girl like you needs to be careful. Thank you, uncle, but it's okay. There are 2 of us girls. We'll just take some photos and leave. I thanked him with a smile, opened my phone and sent Yanzi my location. Arrived. This was a habit we had developed since we started dating. It was so he could come pick me up as quickly as possible after finishing his work. After sending the location, I exited and sent another message to the younger girl. I'm here. Where should I wait for you? I've been here for a while. I even found a great spot for photos. Sis, come inside. And near Factory Building 3. The factory had been abandoned for many years, overgrown with weeds. Because it was winter and cold, thick clouds piled up in the sky, blocking the light, making everything appear gloomy. Holding my camera, I walked inside, stumbling over uneven ground. Standing at the entrance of Factory Building 3, I looked at several dusty machines in disarray but didn't see anyone. So I lowered my head to get my phone, planning to call her. Just as I looked down, a sudden, violent force came from behind, pushing me to the ground. In the flying dust, I saw an unfamiliar, ferocious face. Jiang Wenchu? He called me by name, clearly not a random crime. In an instant, I understood everything. A booking made 2 months in advance, a disguised female identity, using a specific shooting request to subtly lure me to this remote, desolate place. What did he want? Money? I dug my nails into my palm, trying hard to stay calm. What do you want? I advise you not to act impulsively. I sent my boyfriend my location when I arrived. He'll come pick me up soon. The man sneered unpleasantly. Your boyfriend is on a business trip out of town. He's probably already boarded the plane by now. I'll take detailed photos. If you're not afraid of them being spread all over the internet, go ahead and call the police. As he spoke, he forcefully tore off my short down jacket. I screamed. Bai Lu sent you. This is a crime. Is she insane? Her life and career were ruined by you. Do you think she still cares about that? He continued speaking, his hands tearing at my clothes. My thin sweater couldn't withstand the force and was soon forcibly pulled off, revealing the white shirt underneath. A cold wind blew in, dust clogging my nose and mouth. I struggled desperately, screaming wildly, but due to the difference in size, it was futile. Just as I was almost despairing, the hands assaulting me suddenly stopped. Then came the sound of something heavy hitting the ground. I opened my eyes. Through a layer of blurred tears, I saw Yanzi's face. For a moment, I almost thought it was an illusion. He dropped the rusty iron wrench in his hand, gasped for breath rapidly, then picked me up from the ground in one swift motion. Those usually calm eyes were burning with anger, sparks flying. I trembled and burst into loud sobs. Yanzi! How did you get here? Wanted to see you. He brushed aside my disheveled hair, gazing into my eyes. So I discussed with the other party, said I'd go tomorrow morning instead. Good thing I didn't go. Kyuki, thank goodness I came. His voice was full of fear from the narrow escape, the fingers touching my cheek trembling slightly. After carrying me into the car and turning on the heater, Yanzi told me he wanted to stay and celebrate my birthday, so he turned back on the way to the airport. When he arrived at the gate and found my phone unreachable, sensing something was wrong, he called the police, then grabbed a wrench and came in to find me. Curled up in his embrace, I gradually calmed down. It was Bailu. The arms holding me tightened even more. Yanzi's voice was icy. I know. Almost as soon as his words fell, the sound of approaching police sirens came from outside the car window. The man Yanzi had knocked out was taken away. After regaining consciousness, he confessed to his crimes and admitted Bailu had instigated him. When Bailu was brought in, the resentment in her eyes as she looked at me was terrifying. It's all because of you. Because of you, my commercial value plummeted to nothing. All the endorsements I already had are gone. My career is completely ruined. Why do you get to live so well? Her extreme, frenzied expression startled me. I took a step back, steadied myself, then sneered. Isn't that laughable, Miss Bai? That last incident was clearly you stirring up trouble first. Why are you acting like the victim now? What, you can harm others, but others can't fight back? Yanzi shielded me behind him, looking at her coldly. I provided the evidence. I posted the Weibo. If you have issues, why don't you come at me? You've been an adult for a long time. Committing crimes. The law will make you pay the price. Bailu's lips moved, but no words came out. After giving our statements and leaving the police station, Yanzi called his mother. Mom, if Bailu's family calls you, don't answer. If they come to the door, don't open it. Call the police directly. Auntie Yan was shocked. What happened? After Yanzi explained the whole story, her shock turned to anger. She's a lunatic. Kiyuki, are you there? Don't worry, Auntie will absolutely not let you be wronged. No matter what the Bai family says, I will never forgive them. I took the phone and chatted with Auntie Yan for a bit, asking her to keep it from my mom for now, then hung up. After returning home, I took a hot shower and changed my clothes. Yanzi carefully helped me treat my wounds. When he came back to the living room, I was sitting on the sofa, looking up at him with a smile. But as I smiled, tears suddenly fell. Yanzi ... I cried as I spoke. I'm so happy. You really appeared when I needed you the most. Many times in the past at the airport, in that isolated, helpless little motel, I had wished Yanzi would appear suddenly like today, rescuing me from danger. Although it was a bit late, it still came. His arm around me tightened silently. In the end, he said nothing, just patted my back soothingly, letting me cry and vent. I wiped my tears on his sleeve and asked, But how did you suddenly appear? How could you leave such an important matter to come find me? Yanzi was silent for a moment, then took out a small box, opened it, and placed it in front of me. Because of this, inside the box was a dazzling diamond ring, obviously very valuable. Today is your 22nd birthday. I wanted to give this to you, propose, and then leave. Yanzi said softly. I don't know if you'll agree, but Kiyuki, I want to marry you. I didn't respond. So Yanzi's expression visibly became increasingly flustered. Don't you want to? He asked gently, a faint hint of dejection in his voice. Yanzi, actually, I told you when we first met. I'm child-free. I dislike children. Even if we get married, I won't have children. I remember. Yanzi agreed without hesitation. I'll get a vasectomy. But you've earned so much money with no one to inherit it. Then you can spend it all by yourself. Spend more. When I get back, I'll take you to buy a new camera. Buy bags. As he spoke, he suddenly remembered something. When you get your driver's license, I'll buy you a car too. ... You'll regret it. I would only regret it if I missed you. He lowered his head, covering the back of my hand with soft kisses. In my life, love was originally an excluded option. That's why I agreed to cover for Bailu back then, because I thought it didn't matter. But if I had known there would be a day when she harmed you, I would never have agreed, no matter what. The way he looked at me was focused and affectionate, as if I were the only impulse and exception in his orderly, strict life. So, will you marry me? I finally reached out my hand, watching as he slipped the ring onto my finger. Yes, after this night, Yanzi and I had to be apart for a few short days again. But I felt incredibly at peace, knowing I had this night with him, and a long, long lifetime ahead. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him. Yanzi, I need some happy memories to forget today's experience. My heart raced, my breath quickened. Permeating my bones and blood was a long, lingering joy. The end.